Okay, so the maps here. Closed maps, Black Forest, you'll want to maybe secure Turks for both Arena and Black Forest and Bohemians, whereas China will want the best nomad civs currently. Persians, Lithuanians, Malians, that sort of thing. Koreans comes to mind as well for better scouting with the extra line of sight villagers. Burmese has seen a lot of play on nomad as well. But since it's 5 maps and a wide selection of maps, you also need to prioritize or accept the fact that you want to get the best civs for all of the maps. That's what I meant to say. So it's going to be priorities here. Of course, there are snipes as well. 1 snipe in the middle of here, and I believe it's 1 additional pick more than total amount of games. So 5 games, that should be 20 civilizations per team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 18, 19, 20, 21. So there's 1 additional pick, but there is a snipe in the middle of here as well. So you pick, then you snipe mid-draft, and in the very end, you're left with 10 to 20 civilizations to play, I believe. Let me find the draft through this link. Ah! Here we go! Alright, we have a draft. Yeah, I found it for you, finally. Must have been a new draft link they didn't share with us, or something. But I found it through Spectator Dashboard, so now we're good. And as expected, the Spanish have been sniped. Teutons also, you know, a sensible snipe because they're really strong on Black Forest, I guess, right? And Arena. So that's good. Chinese for Team Acropolis or Arabia Hermalians for Nomad for sure. Possibly Golden Lakes as well. And we have some typical open map pockets here. Hunts could be for Golden Lakes, could also be for Arabia. It works for both. Khmer I've seen on Golden Lakes as well, but they could certainly make sense on the closed maps as well. Honestly, I think so far, I think both teams have really good options here for the maps in question. So it's going to come down to which civs you actually play on the maps, I think. None of them are down prioritizing the open maps, right? Because we have Franks and Hindustanis for China, and we have Lithuanians and Cumans for Sweden for pocket options. Maybe Sweden is missing a properly good Arabia pocket here. They only have Lithuanians, which could be needed for the hybrid maps as well. Saracens, I think that's a Golden Lakes or even Arabia flank civ. Let's see. Sweden needs another archer civ. Let's see. It's interesting that they picked Britons and it didn't get sniped, even if it was an option to snipe it. So China really prioritizing Nomad here. They don't want to be against Spanish. And Hoye is right. There are some lack of Arbalest civs here from the Swedes. Poles, they have Arbalest, but they don't usually play that route. Malay is an Arbalest civ though. And we have Britons, obviously. So maybe they're saving the archer civilizations for later. China have Ethiopians, Chinese, Vietnamese, Saracens even. Mayans. Franks Mayans gonna be Arabia almost for sure. Malay very versatile, but will probably be played for. Wait, they're not playing Golden Lakes actually. Never mind, that was bad. Malay has to be Arena then, I guess. Dravidians also technically an arbalest civilization, but a fantastic water civilization as well. Nomad civ probably in this case, because then you'll utilize the Dravidians team bonus of docks providing population space. Zillions. Is that an arena sim perhaps? Could be used well on mobile as well. Japanese. Could also be, could be a Team Acropolis Civ actually. Access to Arbalists, but also fully upgraded cavalry archers, which you don't really see often from Japanese, but is still an option. Incas for China, late pick. I've seen them for Team Acropolis as well, but could certainly substitute as a flank on the more open style maps. Tatars, very late pick, but still should be useful for Team Acropolis, right? That's one of the only maps I really see Tatars working on here, if they're going to use them. And I guess they have to use all of the civs here, so... Goffs, latest pick for China. They used Goffs for Men at Arms Towers on Arabia, actually, Mr. Yo. And Lix played the Goffs Burmese combo. The game is on, my friends. We are fast forwarding a bit because it's a live game, so it needs to fast forward to catch up. It's just how Capture H Live spectating works. Let's start off with Sweden's side here. We have humans, as Hoye suspected actually, in the flank position for Slaktarn here. He's playing in the grey. And, well, we'll benefit from the second town center in the feudal age, humans being the only civilization that can build a second town center in the feudal age. It would be a good way to place it down here or maybe on the side, to have a safe wood line, because as you can see the wood is limited up on the Acropolis hill. But you could also play some camp it out more on the hill here and wall yourself in and go for a stronger castle age that way. Ganji with the Berbers, probably going to be the one opening scouts here, but will also want to get to the cast age sooner than the opponents, because the Berbers thrive from the cheaper cavalry in the cast age, 15% cheaper cavalry. We have Maratin with the Burmese here, as suspected. Burmese will want to get into Arambai, maybe just a straight fast castle here from the Burmese into the power unit that is Arambai. Finally, to the right hand, we have a pretty obvious civilization for Team Acropolis here, even if it was picked late. Tatars with a 25% extra heal damage, and also a little bit of food boost with 2 sheep added per town center you place. Let's have a look at the Chinese side now. We have Lix here in the orange, playing as the Chinese. Food very close and accessible on this map, so it's easy to get started with Chinese with an absolute minimal amount of idle town center time. Boars pretty close as well, as you know, and extra boars for food boost if you want to move out later to get those. Chinese probably going to play the archers into crossbows and arbalists here. While in the pocket position we have Mr. Yo with the Hindustanis, very likely going to begin with open with scouts here, then benefit from the fact that the Hindustanis have cheaper villagers and more efficient boom with that in mind. Oh, there's some fighting going on here. Mr. Yo needing to quick wall in the villager, is low in hit points but saves the villager through quick walls. Well played by Mr. Yo there, who wants to... I'm not sure where he's going actually. What's the plan here? What is the plan here, Mr. Yo? Why are you moving out with a 7 hit points villager? Are you going to go forward? He's docking, of course. Ah, there's some deep fish in the middle here on Acropolis, so that makes sense. There's some free food to be exploited here. Thought for a moment there he was going forward with the buildings, but he's going with no loom, taking the chances here. Not even quick walling it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, he's fine. He's gonna complete that one. Yeah, so Mr. Yo with the Hindustan is now going to get the food boost from the dock as well. We have Frank's pocket for yellow here. I have to check up on which one is which one here. Spectator dashboard could actually maybe tell me that. And but as the Franks there, opening the scouts as we can see, well on the way to the field age already, and finally the Mayans on the flank here, going to get into archers, crossbows to begin with, and then plumed archers later on, the unique unit from the castle. So the village is in. Are they going to contest the water in the middle here? Only fishing ships for now. Do they know that the other player has docked? They don't really. So there's no reason to contest this just yet. Shorefish obviously bringing in a little bit as well. And here's that TC I was talking about. Exactly at the spot I mentioned actually. Slaktar going for the second TC on the wood over here. Commits 9 builders here. And because the TC builds 50% lower. Red is Vivi. Got it. Red is Vivi. Yellow is Tim. Thanks, Moya. Could have a little look at the scouting of the players. They don't know that the other player is docked in the middle. Maybe they must be suspecting it. But see, okay, they've seen the palisade. Maybe they have some idea after all. China trying to wall off here. Here comes the first range of the Chinese. You'll see that on Team Acropolis as well. You can't build on this terrain, so you have to wall on the Acropolis itself. It's very compact, sort of bottle-style walling. Army situation quite comparable here, as is the Eco. But Sweden seems a little bit better walled for the time being. Not completely walled, but in the process of doing so, as Tim moves in with the Frank Scout here. Gets a little poke in on Maratin's starting scout here. Fire galley now from Mr. in the middle. You'd love to see that. There's only 3 fish of Maratin though, so maybe the damage... Maybe this hurts Mr. Yo more than it hurts Maratin, honestly, if Mr. Yo overcommits here, but probably just 1 fire galley, since Maratin is still in the Dark Age. He is going for the Burmese fast castle here, so he's going to lose some precious food income in the middle. Because of that 1 fire galley. Easy win for Mr. Yo in the middle. Getting some valuable scouting intel in the opponent's side here. For Tim, he sees the lumberjacks. Obviously, with Loom in, you can't really contest those. But more scouts joining in. That could become an issue for Sweden over here. Sleepy Swede pulling these scouts over. Has that extra hill elevation bonus for the Tatars as well. So better numbers, and at some point, if Sleepy Swede gets into Bloodlines, they're also going to have more hit points than the Franks ones. Slaktarn is here with the Cuban Scout as well, not really joining in though. So Sweden is really playing it kind of defensively, the Scouts here, rather than moving out. So they won't be doing damage, but they'll also be able to keep China away from damaging their own base. So, and they seem to have more consistent military numbers in terms of scouts anyway. But they also lost the middle lake here, I guess. Brought in, also lost the docking villagers because he had 3 fish and now 4 eco units lost. Other than that, Sweden hasn't lost any villagers. Yeah, we should have Sweden and China, for sure. Thanks. Well, I said that earlier today. There we have that. Now there should be no doubt about who's playing. Just harassing the humans a little bit here, but they didn't. China didn't scout the second town center of Schlachtarn here. They must be suspecting it's here somewhere because it's not inside of their base, and that wouldn't really be economically sustainable either. But they really need to try and scout that expansion as well, because as this farming economy develops, you could really annoy that with the mobility of the scouts as well. 2 fire galleys for Mr. O, that's about it here. We have Castle Age is kicking in, we have Lix, isn't it? Maybe we'll call him Lix as well, actually. Let's call him Lix. Lix is now in the Castle Age with the Chinese, with a respectable 1 minute of idle town center time. China definitely on the offensive here, but Sweden with the uptime advantage. Berbers, straight fast Castle Age here, with the knights in production out of double stables. China with only the Chinese in the Castle Age might struggle a bit here against the power of the Berbers knights. Scouts doing some work though, idling the gold of Schlachtarn, but Schlachtarn has gold access over here as well eventually, so that might not be that much of an issue. We have the Berbers sort of playing the Castle Age role here for Sweden until the humans can eventually get there at a much stronger economy. You look at the villager count, you see Sweden comparable to China A, but they also have 2 players in the Castle Age already. Bratin has the Castle App, gonna join in with some Iron Buy here to join in with the Berbers Knights for a very strong ranged melee combination here. Finds an opening as well. That's a hole that China could have benefited from earlier on when trying to get in with the scouts, but it's still open in the back, so that's probably why they haven't really stressed looking for that. But now Sweden is moving out. We have 6 knights from the Berbers, only 10 farms for Ganji as well, so that could be a bit of an issue for the continued production. Doesn't really make any more army. Sweden not making the most of the Castle Age advantage here, but if they can do proper damage with the Iron Buy and the Knights combination here, it would certainly sway the economic situation in Sweden's favor here. Oh, that's a bit of a risky town center, isn't it? Even if Sweden kind of had the military momentum right now, we have China entering the Castle Age with all of their players as well. Monk, T-Pens, and Relics collection for Vivi over here has 2 town centers now with the Mayans. As the scouts finally find the scouts of Team finally find the town center of Schlachtarn to the side here as well. Knowing where to hit to punish the humans' economy outside of the walled home base here. But it's a very healthy economy entering the Castle Age here for the humans. Should be no problem for Schlachtarn to feed cavalry out of another hold actually. Feed cavalry out of another maybe triple stables, maybe even quadruple, because of the overall economic situation. Only 9 on gold for now for Schlachtarn though, so it's not going to be producing any crazy masses just yet. Camels now added for Mr. Yo. Effectively works as a counter against both the Iron Buy and the Knights here, so the Iron Buy need to move away. Good spot there by Maratin. Good army control or good map vision to realize that the Camels were getting close. Camels would absolutely melt Iron Buy if they're allowed to get close enough. China with 17 crossbows and double stable camels. Really creeping up there. All of the players soon to be in the Castle Age. Sweden with the economic advantage, but China with the military momentum, which should be more significant here. That's a good second castle of Maratin here as well. Look at how it covers 2 golds, and more importantly, maybe the conserves some safe wood access over here. So the crossbows of Lux, at least when they get ballistics in, they should be doing very well against the Iron Buy of the Burmese, because the Burmese, they only get the first armor upgrade. It's already in actually, But with crossbows, with their additional range, they have 2 more range than the Iron Boy. So, but obviously the Iron Boy much more mobile, which will be a concern for China to deal with. 2 castles up for Baratin already as well, and he has the power unit working here with the Berbice. Almost 20 Iron Boy on the field, has been conserving the army mass nicely, only lost 6 units thus far in the game. That was mainly in the middle, in the early game. Economy extending here, baby, just casually poking away at that town center going up, like saying, I know what you're doing. Oh, and the stray scouts of Sleepy Swede, the leftover scouts in for a raid over here. Light cab of the Tatars getting value. 9 eco kills for the Tatars, with everything going on here. Splitting the map for maximum annoyance around here. Great use of the remaining Feudal Age scouts of Sleepy Swede to convert them into light cab and continue being annoying with them. Now looking for an opening in the back here. Could be an overchop soon. Nah, it's a while to go for that. But scout to the backside as well. We'll maybe see some more expansions going on there. At the same time, the Plume Archer numbers have increased to a deadly mass for China as well. Plume Archers should be able to deal with the Iron Boy as well, to be honest. They have the speed and mobility to almost keep up. And now they're inside to raid and diminish the economy efforts of Sweden. They're 252 to 243. Also some camel raids from Mr. O down south here, nearly fully upgraded camels, idling the wood income of Sleepy Swede, which is crucial for whatever army combination is coming up next for Sleepy Swede. Long term, that should be the cavalry archers, of course, for the Tatars. But the castle is up for Ganji as well, mainly for defensive purposes, but long term you could also go into camel archers from Ganji, which is a power unit from the Berbers, especially good for countering cavalry archers, but overall a good unit anyway with the mobility and range. Oh, sandwich maneuver from Sweden here. Who is this better for? It's all of the Plume Archers sandwiched in. Great fight for Sweden, isn't it? Maybe they'll need to... they'll need to stable. Here we go, they get us around. Going to clean up so many Plume Archers here. Fantastic fight for Sweden. Keeps a decent chunk of the knights here with Cumans as well, and they are obviously easily replenishable for the Cumans, with the economy behind us now at 90 villagers, but Mayans keeping up here as well. China not far behind eco-wise at all. I have to agree with Oya. Expected Mayans and Franks to be used on Arabia for China, but on the other hand, China have had more off-meta plans for Arabia in the earlier sets, like the Goths Burmese combo, with the Burmese basically going straight fast castle, and the Goths going men-at-arms towers. Didn't quite work out for China, but in that game. But yeah, they have some alternative approaches. "28 Iron Bar and counting now. Camel archers from the Berbers, not really supplying cavalry anymore, relying on the Cumans to do so. 20 knights on the field, just as many camels for Mr. Yo, who will need to seed fish traps soon, or plant fish traps soon to compensate for the fact that there's barely any fish left in the middle. Yeah, Lux will probably play Goths on Arabia, so that should be interesting. So we'll get back to the Civ draft later to see what might happen. I like the eco expansion of China better than Sweden's, I think. I mean, Sweden keeps a compact base, it's harder to raid, but China claims more of the map, secures more of the neutral resources, strategic castles here as well. But Sweden already started the walling in towards the middle to secure the corners for trade. They even made the markets already. Sweden are on top of things here, really. Why wall the middle? Because if you can successfully wall off the middle here, you secure your bases from raids, especially at the trade route, which you will eventually need for continued gold access in the late game. So this is just to limit any mobility through the middle here for Sweden. And the castles strategic based here as well to protect the economy. Not really seeing balling efforts from China just yet, but they'll probably also start planting the market. Oh, here we go. Walls to the top for China as well, yeah. I have to say for the late game here, I kind of favor Sweden though. Simply for the fact that Mayans are so gold dependent, and if you're out of gold, Mayans really fall behind in the very late Imperial Age, while Sweden has full access to hussars and the other appropriate trash options. But then again, you still have Hindustanis and arguably Chinese very late game here, so we'll see. This looks like it will go long because both sides are walling off. They are going to set up the trade. Sweden already got the markets up. They didn't really start the actual trade yet. Good trade-off against the Plumed Archers here for Ganji with the Berbers. Surprisingly enough, doesn't have Bloodlines yet. Did play Knights early on in the Castle Age here, Ganji, but did not go for Bloodlines, which will benefit the Camel Archers as well, with an additional 20 hit points. So Vivi needs to bail on that castle in the middle. Will he try a quick wall here? That's actually Tim with the frags, but that gets obstructed by Slugturn's Knights over here. Nice pick up there. Humans obviously with Bloodlines in, playing full cavalry here for the something Knights, and now Imperial Age to immediately upgrade to Cavalier and plate guarding armor. Feels like humans is one step ahead, or in Sweden is one step ahead here, but we have China in the Imperial Age as well. So I shouldn't be speaking too soon. A very forward castle for the Chinese now, with Arbalest out of 4 barracks production here. Bracer, last armor is in, but Sleepy Swede scrabbles up the castle first. Lux will not be able to get this castle up this time around. Iron Bar joining in. They need to get close to the Arbs to really trade well here. I believe more in the Arbs here, to be honest. Especially as Imperial Age is in for Hindustanis as well, with the heavy camels and eventually the Imperial camels coming in. Lux deletes the castle, places this further back to start taking a trebuchet war here. But in a trebuchet war scenario, if Sleepy Swede at some point gets the unique technology of the Tatars, he will have +2 range on the trebuchets and outrange any other civilization's trebuchets. So with the 2 castles here, if that unique tech is ever researched, Sweden has a nice little advantage there. Imperial Age still on the way for Sleepy Swede though, so not going to be able to take any trebuchet wars anytime soon. Military situation quite close here. Sweden well ahead in economy. Also started producing trade units. Cumans now trading with 9 trade cards. Actually, let's use this overview now for the Cadian trade to see how the trade develops. Fighting underneath Castle Fire here. Cavaliers not really producing for Slugtarn here, but dives in, takes the fight. Heavy cavals here, but the Iron Bar, as long as the camels attack the cavalry, the Iron Bar will trade very well against the Hindustanis camels here. Only 17 camels now from Israel against a still healthy 30 cavaliers from Slugtarn. And we also have a sizable amount of Iron Bar here that will probably get the elite upgrade when or if that Imperial Age is researched at any point for Muratin. Muratin admittedly behind in the progression through the ages, but keeps a healthy army number with the strong unit that the Iron Bar really is. Castle's going up to the side there. Doesn't look like. Oh, Ganji, does he see this? Can he stop that? Can he deny that castle? 95. 95, 99! Oh, so close! So close! And Ganji will actually have to bail on this castle. He could commit more villagers, but that's just a waste. You'd lose so many. That's so close! That's nearly stopped at 99.5% that castle, but the Mayans player gets the castle up. Oh, Ganji with the time just a little bit off here. Now look at the Plumed Archers. 46 of the elite Plumed Archers out and about now. Fully upgraded. Chemistry is in as well. Castle gets denied. Sweden still with the compact base. They got trade running. They got their stone walls up. Will they be able to keep China from raiding the trade though? Blue Archers, they could run in and raid the trade here like a Cavalry Archer would do as well. Castle Foundation still up. Ganji will just have to delete that one. Got some trebuchets out, really wants that forward castle down, so the walls can be further extended for Sweden here. But China now with the pushing on several sides here. Imperial Camel in for Mr. Yo as well. Good chunk of armless for Lux. Believe this game will be a long one. Yeah, it tends to go that way on Team Acropolis, to be honest. Now both teams have trade running. Sweden with the trade advantage. Even if it's only stock turn, he has 20 trade cards working. So he's going to bring in solid amounts of gold here. Both teams closing in on population cap as well. Military situation ahead for China. Eco situation ahead for Sweden. It's a very common sight in team games really, that one team has the military advantage and while they're pushing, and the other team has the economic advantage and need to keep the enemy units away. Paladin coming in for the Franks as well. And when that kicks in, the Franks Paladins will be effectively stronger than the Cumans, since the Franks get 20% more hit points on the Paladin and not just 20 extra hit points like that. Another castle going down for Ganji. Did he lose the stone there? Did he actually lose the stone? No, he deleted it in time. It's very obvious. I think he kind of got a little bit ahead of things here. Tried to place a castle before Vivi's castle was actually down. So, elite cavalry archers now for Ganji here. Stockdarn getting some raids in by the looks of it. Did raid the economy of China earlier on, but China pushing heavily with the heavy camels over here. Arambai still not elite because they're still in the castle age here, just now reaching the Imperial Age. Sleepy Sweet with the Halberdier, Meat Shield in front here, also gone into Onager with the Tatars here. Big fight to the right hand side here, but Mr. Yo now with 6 stable production of camels here. Should be able to put up a good fight against the Cumans Paladins. In fact, he's outnumbering the Cumans Paladins by 10-15 more now. China gaining terrain on the right hand side here against Sweden. And they're also pushing decently on the left hand side. Blue Archers, they're going to risk it. They're going to run through Castle Pyre here maybe to try to get to the trade. Or maybe not. Trade for all of the Chinese players now. Oh, not taking the fight against the cavalry archers here. Maybe trying to camp underneath the castle so that the castle can't fire at the blooms, but doesn't quite succeed there. Vivi looking for more eco trades here, but now China really needs to get to the trade now. This seems like a dangerous fight to take. Maybe okay, they're through. Not too bad. Camel archers sandwiching in the plumed archers here. Bad news for the plumed archers here going down, but they're being replenished. They create so quickly as well. There's only 2 castles, but about to become 3 for Vivi though. Any action in the trade lines here? Not really, not yet. So that's the win condition here, right? You need to get to the trade line to deprive the other team of gold. The gold tiles are running lower here. Obviously not run out quite yet, but there are castles protecting them for Sweden over here, and China have secured their side with double fortified walls on this side. So China's trade is arguably safer at this point. They also have access to stone walls for all of the civilizations, whereas Cumans for Sweden, they don't really have access to stone walls. So you'll have to rely on your teammate walling up for you. Getting closer and closer to Sweden's home base now. Needs to deal with the castle as well, but pushing uphill with trebuchets. Only 3 trebuchets won't necessarily be enough here. Sweden mustering 3 armies here to try and deal with the masses of Arbalists and Imperial Camels. But look at the forward towers as well. Bomber towers now for Lix. Just doing Lix things here, manifesting the position of China A forward here. Forward siege workshops to pump out what is likely to become siege rams soon as well. It's a very late ballistics, but that's maybe because Mr. O is thinking about more. I mean, maybe it's just getting it to get it, but it's going to benefit Castle Fire, and it's going to benefit any cavalry archers transition if Mr. O ever would want to switch into that. But maybe it's just to boost the castles and town centers fire, to be honest. Another Mayans castle going up here. China really pushing here now, getting some proper raids in on Ganges economy. And now look at the trade line. Look at the big masses down in the trade route and the very exposed farming and wood economy here. China doing some work at taking out the enemy economy now. This is going to be devastating for Sleepy Sweden, to be honest. It's at 144 villagers, so can definitely afford to lose some, but the trade they can't afford to lose. That's going to be horrible for the gold income of Sweden. Slaktar with 46 trade cards here. That could diminish quickly with the army masses at work here. Arbai now still not elite for the Burmese, but they're trading decently against the forward armies of the Chinese here. But once again, elite to larger numbers. They create so quickly as well. Let's have a look at the castle. Look at that. It takes like 10 seconds or something to produce those. China with safe trade running at home here. Steady fortified walls everywhere. Not allowing Sweden to enter, while pushing forward with more castles and manifesting the position further and further forward. Another castle. Vivi is just going crazy with the forward buildings here. While will we see more bomber towers maybe? Siege rams on this side from Lix, accompanying the Arbalists over here. Wants to push through on the trade line yet again. And I don't think Sweden are seeing this coming this way. This could be a genius move, actually. They're going to punch through the stone walls like paperwork here with the siege rams. Arbalists in front here. All of the arms here for Lix, but yeah, weak spot here. Lots of economy to be taken out. Cavalry archers and paladins here taking good trades, to be honest, but they're fighting underneath castle fire still. Several castles. This 4th castle does not complete. China losing some numbers. They're behind in military numbers now. Sweden behind in economy for a change. So the economic situation has changed here, as Tim has been raiding like crazy with the Franks. We're getting some real economic kills in there. How many elite camel archers? About 30 of them, but the paladin numbers of the Cubans really coming to show here as well. And they're diminishing the plumed archers numbers, which is the only unit Vivi is currently fielding. Down south, Sweden has spotted the sneak move of Lux with the siege rams and Arbalists over here as well. Yo is here with the cavals. Another layer of fortified walls for Sweden over here, but ready to engage against the Imperial Camels with the Halberdiers here. But the Tatars making the Halberdiers, that's not ideal, is it? They're lacking both of the defense upgrades. So it's peculiar that Sleepy Sweden has to be the one supplying the Halbs here. It's the weakest Halberdiers of all of these civilizations here. Cumans get them as well. Obviously, Cumans need to play the cavalry. But Burmese would be fantastic to have Burmese Halberdiers here, and they are being produced. It's just going to, it's just taken Maratin a while to establish the economy for that army switch, so to speak. Looks like Siege Onager, or was it Siege Onager for the Burmese, or is it Onager? Onager, sorry, Onager. Don't think Burmese get Siege Onager. But Onager research for the Burmese, so it's going to be Halb Onager for the Burmese. Trying to get some good shots in on the plumed archers, perhaps. Paladins in front, cavalry archers behind, plumed archers here as well. Fortified wall now for Ganji as well to try and delay this push, but China is pushing heavily on both sides here. Bombard towers from the Chinese, of Lux over here as well. And that trade situation, while it's healthy right now for Sweden, it's going to diminish quickly as China enters here. Now with the position they have over here, Mr. Yo could place some forward stables here as well and have easy raiding access to the trade route with Hindustani Hussars here if they need to. But for now, it's only making heavy cavalry because the gold situation is not being obstructed at all for the Chinese. There's literally no raiding. It's such a peaceful there. No attack sounds over here at all. That's true. Sweden had an incredible comeback against Australia in the... That must have been the previous round or even the group stage. They played group stage before the round robin. The group stage match against Australia. They had one player completely dead, Sweden. And yet they still managed to get back into it and beat Australia. A game that Australia are probably still kicking themselves about. But this is a tough situation for Sweden to recover from. Look at all of the castles in the middle, all of the positioning, all of the bombard towers on this side, which you need trebuchets or siege ramps to take out. And the only civilizations on Team Sweden that get siege ramps is Cumans and Tatars. And Cumans need that population space for paladins. Tatars arguably need it for halberdiers at this point. Yeah, so bombard towers creeping near the trade line now. That's going to obstruct some of the trade income here for sure. And that's it. Sweden realize it's past the point of no return here now. They're down to 576 population as well. China taking the first game, the neutral map, Team Acropolis. Let's have a look at the statistics before we move on to the next game. Looks like Mr. has been doing some work with Campbell, Silver the Bones attacking against buildings and probably siege weapons as well. Did destroy the most buildings for his team by losing a bit. Economic situations very similar between the... No, not similar actually. Cubans with much more resources collected did pump out lots and lots of paladins, but always tough to be up against Hindustanis, Imperial Campbells, or any cavalry civilization. Lots of good open map civilizations spent by China here though, so they must have prioritized this neutral map. Lots of eco units here. I think that accounts for trade cards as well for Sleepy Swede perhaps. So it looks like a bit of an overview, but it's probably a way to get in get the gold income needed for the late game. Maybe to sling the teammates as well for the proper units. Let's tick off the civilizations used and dive into the next game. Yeah, that's the last one for Sweden. China winning with Franks, Mayans, Hindustanis. And what was the last one again? Chinese, there it is. China taking the neutral map. Oh yes, I think so. We'll go for Black Forest next. I'm not entirely convinced because you might... I would say Black Forest is Sweden's best map. So I think if I'm Sweden, I want to say Black Forest for the second home map. But might be right. We'll keep an eye out for any lobby ID here. Here it is. Be right back. I need to get some water. I honestly think Sweden will go for arena because they should, or I'm not going to say they should, but it would potentially benefit them to save the best map for the second home map. Think we may have. No, we don't have a lobby ID yet. Uh, it would please Hoya to see arena, of course it would. It's the HDFE home map that is arena. No, I honestly think we'll see arena. So let's just work on the theory. If it's arena, Poles, Bohemians comes to mind, but these are strong for Black Forces. Bohemians especially, probably a Black Forest Civ. But let's say Poles, Malay, Khmer, and then what for arena? Celts, maybe. No, Celts, that's Black Forest. Celts, that's definitely Black Forest. So, Poles, Malay, Italians, and Khmer for arena would be my guess. Okay, we have a new lobby ID. Perfect. Isn't it Mr. Yo that hates arena? So that's not really a great sign for China if that's the map of choice. That doesn't. It's a huge difference between 1v1 arena and team game arena, though. So I'm sure it doesn't apply nearly as much for Mr. Yo in the in a team game situation. Most of China does. Yeah, they love the chaotic maps like Nomad and stuff, right? So, or the more open maps in general. I also think China is number one Nomad. Oh, there's not even a question, Hoya. That's like there, but Chinese, China, and is it Vietnam? They're really good in Nomad as well, aren't they? Like the Vietnamese teams. And in fact, I believe Vietnam actually took a game of China on Nomad in the group stage as well. Vietnam A. Because they beat China. I think they did take out China. Or maybe it was the other way around. Maybe it was China winning that one. I actually don't entirely remember. They didn't switch map yet. So we'll see what it turns out to be. I remember team was making TCs on it. Right, okay, so it's China dominating that one then. But still, I'll keep my point that Vietnam are also really good on no bad start maps. It's like China and Vietnam, they are top dogs in the nomad scene. from my experience, anyway. Alright, lobby is filled up. Yeah, we're gonna see Black Forest. That's nice. Nice. Should be an eventful Dark Age then, with the walling aggression trying to survive. It could also be a really long game. Really long game. That's the pity about 4v4. So much action and aggression, it's hard to keep track. Yeah, I can draw the civs again, for sure. For Black Forest, I expect Bohemians. I expect Celts. And I think, honestly, I would see Bengalis Mongols here. Maybe. Khmer, honorable mention as well, of course. How does the webpage know which tournament which matches belong to? I honestly have no idea, but they must have. They probably have it synchronized with Liquipedia somehow. Because Liquipedia has all the details. And for China, Slabs comes to mind. That's the Black Forest Civ. Aztecs, but that could be Arena as well. Koreans for the Siege Onagers, and Turks almost a. I mean, it's a good Arena Civ as well, but yeah, we'll see. Let's see if they've started. They may very well have. You think Britons for Black Forest, Hoya? Really? Surely they must want the Britons for Arabia. I know camping with Britons and the range and everything is fantastic for choke pointy matches on BF as well, but I just don't see it for Black Forest when you have the potential of the Britons 20% faster ranges on Arabia. The dashboard again. Need to have started, maybe? Okay, they didn't launch yet, I think. Doesn't show any numbers. Maybe they're still discussing Civ still. I will go for the best Civs. Yeah, because it's their home map, but Civ is it all? Wait, Persians for Black Forest? I mean, they have a fantastic boom, a fantastic cavalry, but no, I honestly, I don't see why you would use Persians and Britons not for Arabia, so to speak. You're probably right, Hoya, but that's so weird to me. Khmer, I can agree with. Khmer has the pocket, because then you could boom into elite battle elephants. Persian war elephant. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I'll admit that is. I wouldn't know how to stop that. $14! Come on! Lobby, or did they launch? That is the question. These are all in the lobby, right? China, Portuguese, Slavs, Burgundians, Bengalis. So you think they're saving Turks for arena then? Byzantines is probably an arena civ. Portuguese, Slavs, Burgundians, Bengalis. Also, you don't think they would want Koreans siege in Black Forest? So Korea is for Arabia then, perhaps? As a flank civ? China has Koreas, yeah, Koreans. Yeah, Sweden has Bengalis. I think that's what I said. I said Bengalis, Celts, Khmer Mongols, I think was my prediction there. Okay, now I think they started. And I think I saw Gops. Oh, oh boy. Oh boy. That's the case. Things just got spicy. Alright, as Britons. Lithuanians. That's gonna be some wonks flanks play then. Fast imp monk trap, perhaps. Marathi with the Mongols. I saw through that one. Slaknar with the Celts. I also expected that one. And Britons. Hoya called that one. Then there's Byzantines. Sicilians. Aztecs. And what's the last one again? Goths for looks. Alright. Alright. No time to lose here. Actually quite an open Black Forest generation this. It's going to be... You need to wall these sections then, I guess. This is not easy to wall. Or is it? Is this one? This one? Yeah, it's still not... I mean, it's still striking us quite open. As far as Black Forest openness goes. Because you have to this section. It's gonna be rough. It's 3 villagers to 2 here. I expect Loom is in for all of them. Goths get instant Loom. Oh, it's not Ipoganji actually. But he's getting it now. 2 scouts from China over here. I think we'll just have to choose a side to focus on here. They're dancing around the scouts, not really taking in the fights here. And we'll see who gets the walls up eventually here. Oh, that's offensive walling from Vivi. That's ridiculous. He wants to wall all the way over here. That's never gonna work. Come on. Well, Lux is going full Lux here already. He's got how many villagers? 4 villagers and the scout here. His villager goes down, doesn't it? No, or does it? Yo, kids, 1 villager. Yeah, not taking any chances here. Got instant loom as well, essentially giving you 1 extra villager for the... until, yeah. Because you don't need to spend those 25 seconds researching loom. Chasing away the Swedes here. This is where we'll have a look. And don't tell me Vivi is going to complete these walls as the Aztecs. Come on. That's almost almost BM style playing here. If Vivi gets these walls up, they're so close to Sleepy Swede's side. Where's Vivi? Looks like he even wants to pull the eagle back to regain some hit points here. Villager fighting, boxing fight over on this side as well. Looks like Sweden will lose another scout. The blue scout could go down. Last hit from team there, taking away Ganji's scout. Dead even in the villager count, and they got 2. only 2 scouts left on each team as well. I mean, these walls can't. They can't complete. Oh! Sleepy Sweet just taking the chance here to lay him the boar of Vivi as well. Amazing. Oh, you try to wall me in, huh? I'm gonna steal your boar. I'm gonna steal your boar if you do that. But to be fair, China secured 4 extra walls, boars over here, so it's not that big of a loss. Committing heavily to the walls on this side, but so is Sleepy Swede, gaining some more area over here. Right hand side, still attempting the walls here for Ganji, and Ganji seems to be on top of things. Remember, Sweden is probably one of the best Black Forest teams out there. But Lux refuses to give up as well, sends more builders out. Let's look at the left hand side again. Looks like Sleepy Swede gets the walls up here, keeps Vivi out for now. No, Vivi. Oh, Vivi keeps trying to get through to complete these incredibly ambitious walls on the Sleepy Swede side. He's hilarious. It's not going to get through though, and should be far behind in the economic progression. So no. Vivi is at the same eco count as Sleepy Swede here, but Sleepy Swede probably better food gathering, given the extra boar stolen from Vivi, but now Vivi long term collecting the boars from over here, so maybe he'll be fine after all. Still, villager fighting on the right hand side here, a minimal amount of villagers lost here, 1 lost by Sleepy Swede, 1 lost by Ganji, but that's about it. One weak villager here from the Lithuanians. No, pulling it back now. Still no complete walls on this side. I don't even know what Tim is up to over here. Probably auto scout. Imagine that Yo is very relieved he doesn't have to play flank. No, he's just gonna sit in the pocket and boom like a madman with the Sicilians here, manifesting the map with castles. Here comes another layer of walls for Vivi eventually to make sure that Sweden will never access these boars. Pond, this position seems fair as well, 2 ponds for each team. Yeah, Yo is just trusting his teammates to wall off here and keep the base safe, so... So Lux's responsibility in this game, or in any game for China, is just to be the annoying player that Lux is, to allow the pocket to free boom and to dominate the game later on. Just incapacitate the other flag, be proper annoying. Okay, Ganji is still not able to wall completely here. Another boar being brought home by Vivi, so Aztecs benefiting from the neutral boars over here. Almost a villager kill here, but neither player able to get the final blow in. Oh, that's gonna be one dead villager for Lix, though. Surely that's gonna be one dead villager. Is he gonna pull it away? Can we block her? Him? Can she block him? That's a dead villager. Down for the Goths. In the meantime, the players not fighting for walling the sides are going to the feudal age. Or actually the Aztecs player is going up. And yeah, Lix the only one missing the feudal age over here, who is not going up here. Ganji also not going up, as he's been committing to villager fighting here. But he's certainly kept a more healthy villager count behind this, with overall lower idle towns at the time, and finally able to wall off here as well to keep Lix out for the time being. Feudal age is in for the Swedes. I believe they'll go straight for the castle ages here, except for Sleepy Swede, who's dropping a tower, but only 1 tower. It's not really a tower rush, just a smart tower to keep the aggression out there. Maybe with the tower as well. Not on stone, so it's only going to be that 1 tower to prevent any entrance here. Okay, it's actually some military from militia from Vivi here as well. Men-at-arms coming in. Men-at-arms and towers, but stone walls going up for Sweden here. Surely Vivi doesn't get through here. This shouldn't work. I think Sleepy Sweet's got this covered over here. Now Lix wants to move out to wall this side as well. Doesn't look to be too successful so far. Another tower for Sleepy Sweet. They're 2 on stone now, so obviously setting the Britons back a bit to have to commit to stone at this point, not to get to the Castle Age and the longer range crossbows, but you do what you gotta do to keep the aggression out, and Vivi is left with no entry into Sleepy Sweet base for now. Only Mr. Yo going to Castle Age of the China team for now, but looks like a team is going to be clicking up with the Byzantines soon as well. Byzantines with the cheaper skirmishers should be able to hold off against archer civilizations, but Britons with the extra range still tough to fight back even with skirmishers. And besides, skirmishers in team games are easily dealt with cavalry units. Stone walls for Slaktar in the middle as well. Castle Age is kicking in for the Swedes here. Feudal Age for Ganji could even be... I don't know what the plan is in Castle Age here, but it's going to the Feudal Age at 31 villagers here. Mratim with the Monastery and Siege Workshop here. Really? Really? Mongols have like the worst monks in the game. Why would you do that? Siege is going to be fine, obviously. But opting for some strong aggression against the Goths. Obviously you don't want to be up against the Goths late game infantry spam. Yeah, they want to kill Lix early, that makes sense. To break through. And kill him. Mr. Yo is here with the Sicilians as well. Don't think Sicilians get redemption, right? I don't remember off the top of my head, but I don't think they do. Mongols obviously don't either, so neither player having the strongest monk options here. Both with monks and siege. Both without any option to convert the other. Stonewalls for Ganji now. I bet Mratim wishes he had a redemption sim here now. Then he could just convert the Mangonel and get to it. It's a bit early for redemption yet though. Great Mangonel micro. Left hand side, Vivi is still scrambling to get through here, won't really succeed. It's going to be forever Feudal Age for a while longer, whereas Sleepy Swede is getting closer here. Collects food from the shorefish and fish traps here, so Britain's going to be well ahead to the Aztecs to the Castle Age here. Oh, Mr. Yo has broken through now. He's got 2 town centers working at home. He's up against a Feudal Age Lithuanian player here now, so we need some Mongols siege and preferably more units here to help out. Left side, University Siege Workshop for Tim, so Tim might be opting for a faster Imperial Age with the Byzantines here. Ganji not able to complete the walls here. All he needs to do is send another builder to get this foundation, or maybe try a layer even a little bit further behind, but there's the constant pressure of Mr. Yo making things more complicated here as well. Prefer Lux's base more. Yeah, it's got a pretty decent fish boom going. More so than Maratin, and Ganji obviously not fish booming at all, he's too far away from the lakes. Hello, Andy. Oh, saves that Mangonel at very low hit points and pulls it away as well. Wait, what? How did that guy get there? Wasn't that Team Scout? How the heck did Team Scout get over here? Oh well. Economy situation is ahead for Sweden. They've been holding well, all things considered. We have Celts booming at full here, which means that the Celts player will be going into the Imperial Age with a very healthy economy behind it to field those massively strong siege weapons and possibly the faster moving Celts infantry as well. Team Scout got value though, got that last hit in on Bratin's Mangonel, so great value from the starting Scout. Well, Britain's castle going up on the left-hand side here now. That's going to complete even with the tower fire of Vivi behind this. Maybe going to be able to pick off a villager or two, depending on Sleepy Swede's villager micro. Could also garrison inside the tower for protection. But that one is going to complete. There's actually a tower from Vivi on this side as well, but Sleepy Swede pounding that one down to make sure this castle goes up and to allow for long bows production or just to further secure this crossing here to be able to break through eventually. And it does deny one stone from Vivi as well, so this is good positioning from Sleepy Swede at this point. Team Just Click Team, yeah, indeed it was the University Siege Workshop here for a faster Imperial Age for the Byzantines. That's a good move from China, because that means that this castle is much less of a threat. It will be going down potentially to bombard cannons of the early Byzantines Imperial Age here. He has 3,000 settlers behind it as well, so the economy behind this fast Imperial Age isn't, or fast-ish Imperial Age, isn't too shabby for Team. Mr. O is keeping up the aggression forward, but also extending the boom at home. He's got a 4th TC coming up now, which means he'll be able to not catch up with quite with the Celts, but you could always make more TCs in a hurry with the Sicilians as well. Mangonel's galore in the building, more monks from the Mongols, though Yo is on his own here. We have Lux somehow made it to Castle Age as well. I wonder if the Byzantines could help over at this side as well, or if it's just too far away. They probably need to contest these castles. That's a great castle by Vivi as well to provide some additional defense and keep the Britons away. Britons nowhere close to the Imperial Age, so that castle will be short-lived. But at the same time, Sweden is gaining terrain on the other side, going to start obstructing Lux's side here. Mangonel could get a good hit in on the villagers building the castle here if Ganji isn't careful, but he pulls away the villagers. Mistio actually deciding to focus on the monks, but keeps the Mangonel alive there, and Ganji diving in to repair the Mangonel of Meratin. We have the Celts going to Imperial Age as well, so that's fantastic by Slaktarn here. It's going to be a very strong Imperial Age combination here with the siege weapons. Even if this castle gets lost, we'll have a fully boomed Imperial Age Celts for Byzantines to handle here, and Tim only at 86 villagers compared to the Celts 113. Could still be tough. Now Mr. Yo with a defensive castle here. How many villagers is he sending? He's sending 8 villagers, and the Sicilians build castles so much faster, so that should be easily completed by the Sicilians here. Bomber cannons for Tim now, which means they'll breach the Britain's base in no time. And hand cannoneers for Tim, not arbalest actually, but hand cannoneers. And I think that makes sense because he knows that the Celts is in Imperial Age. He's going to need hand cannoneers against the Celts infantry. He already has the bombard cannons to deal with the Celt siege weapons. So right into hand cannoneers and bomber cannons here for Tim. Still a strong Imperial Age units combo for sure. Forward castle easily going to complete for the Sicilians here, and Lux, or forward, is rather defensive, but Lux also with the castle here with Goths will need that castle for anarchy and perfusion. Marathi going for the conversions on the fishing ships. Look at the fish economy now, not so much a working fish economy for Lux anymore, at least for the time being. Don't have redemption to convert the docks, unfortunately, but could still convert the ships. Now, usually hand cannoneers doesn't work against the Britons, right? Because Britons have crossbows with similar range to the hand cannoneers. But Britons stuck in the castle age now. Longbows 5+3 range, hand cannoneers should have 7. And besides, you also have the bombard cannons to outrange the longbowmen here. So as long as Tim's vision and army control is on point, he's going to get some nice hits in on the longbows here. Converting one fishing ship, then converting the fish traps to delete them. That's such a sneaky move with the monk forward there. Fantastic value from that monk. Fantastic value. And now the castle goes up though, and the fish trap economy can possibly be revived. Let's see if that monk gets another conversion, and I don't think he will until the light cab gets the hit. He gets one! Oh, this is peak Black Forest laming here. Takes out all the fish traps. That's like 15, 20 fish traps taken out by the converted fishing ships from Martin. Oh, that's such a cheeky move. Brilliant. Second castle for the... Well, actually, Byzantine's castle going on forward here, which means you could opt for some trebuchets as well. Bomber cannon gonna deal it. No! Doesn't get the Onager. Onager gets the bomber cannon. Oh, demo? Why the demo? Yes, wants to take it. Oh no, not like this! Team taking huge losses to the hand cannoneers there, doesn't have the bomber cannons in place to deal with the Onagers. Celts, Onagers moving in now. They fire faster as well. Let's see the fast fire on the great hit. And Siege Onager probably not too far away here with the Celts 50 something builders boom here. Missing some food maybe for the upgrade. Can actually afford it here. Goes for Siege Ram first though. Onager cut through. It's the Sweden comeback push here against the fast imp Byzantines. They seem to be holding decently. On Lix's side, got the fish trap economy back at work. Huskarls in production now. Siege on here now. On the way for Slaktar. Yeah, it sucks for Byzantines not to have siege engineers here. It's obviously going to be outmatched by the Celts in that way. Trebs and Onagers, siege Onagers with more range than the Byzantine counterpart. Siege Rams should be going down to the... Oh, it's actually... Is it going to get the bomber? Oh! Siege Ram almost taking out the bomber cannon there. Repair! Get those repairs in, please! Please! Siege on here now, but 40 seconds away for Sweden. Opening up the map here to allow the longbows to enter as well. Crossbows also being researched. Imperial is in for the Britons. We have castles, so it is going to be longbows here, and it looks like Britons are going to be able to get to their powerhouse units after all. Longbowmen now currently at 5+5 range, but when you get the Yeoman and Elite, you are looking at a potential 6+6 range, which is ridiculous on choke pointy maps like Black Forest. So many siege onagers from the Celts already. Swede's home base not really hit in particular, other than the Ganges side early on. Now fortified walls going up here. Means that China will have to resort to onager cuts to get through. Looks like they might try to cut through over here, but these outposts already in place for Sweden here. Ganji knows what's up. He's a seasoned Black Forest professional. So even if there's an onager cut through here, it might not happen in time for the Chinese team to do anything. Maratin here with the Mangodai joining in on this side as well. Elite Mangodai, in fact, has a very healthy economy working at home as well. 3 castles, 4 castles, 5 castles, all in the middle here. Do they have markets running? Trade? Not optimal yet, is it? Maybe they want to get all the way in here somehow with a cut to get a better trade route. But they're still going to bring in gold through the trade here. Sicilian's army is actually getting through here to punish a little bit of Maratin's side here, but shouldn't be doing too much, should it? Is Halberdier on the way for Mistio? Not yet. Proper damage is being done by Celts on this side though. Celts, Halberdiers, and siege weapons here. Trebuchet, siege ram, siege on yours. Siege everything. The little trade that China has running, that's going to be dealt with swiftly here. Yeah, I definitely like Sweden Simoria, and you'd expect that from Sweden. It's their best map, Black Forest, and they should be considered the favorites over China on maps like these. Great siege on your shot there, or did he actually hide in the town center? No, didn't. So a team currently resorting to skirmishers. Why? Maybe it's low on gold. Maybe that's why. Top side, Elite Mangodai, they are on top of things. They're easily dealing with the Sicilians' siege onagers. Cut through kinda worked here, I guess. Denied the walls for a little bit, but China not really able to push Sweden on the right hand side here. Yeah, they're cheaper skirmishers with Byzantines for sure, but not too sure how much of an impact they will have anyway. Vivi now with the Elite Eagle Warriors as Aztecs, but Vivi also with only 1 town center, doesn't he? 1 town center. So the Aztecs economy is very fragile here, even with only 1 town city and these many villagers. It's not really going to be able to replenish villagers at the same rate as the others. Manifesting the position here for the Celts with the forward castle now. More siege onagers joining in. This castle will allow the Celts to place more forward buildings to push as well. Again, the trade should be going down here for China, for the little trade they've got. Honestly, these houses aren't really doing China any favor either. They have a full trade route, to be fair, but it's just far from safe. Yeah, we're focusing the trade cards here, so China is going to struggle with gold access in not very long here. Cataphracts against the Eagle Warriors comes to mind for sure, but then again, you have the Arbalests of the Britons, right? Arbalests and Longbows. So Cataphracts should melt to that point, so I'm not really seeing any success recipe right there. Elite Rain is monks now out, block printing is in, so Ganji could get some juicy conversions in here as the game goes on. Some Huskars being kept at some Elite Mangodai being kept at home here to keep the units away, and but the Celts push here is working like a charm for Sweden. They're not going to look back for a while yet. They have both military and eco domination at this stage in the game, and I think we're having a reverse situation of game 1 here, where Sweden will effectively push closer and closer and push China to the point of no return here. This just a matter of time here, isn't it? Yo, still a fairly unobstructed base, but now slowly creeping forward here. You can see Theocracy is in because all the monks just need to target 1 unit. Huskars admittedly withstanding quite a few Elite Mangudai shots here, but Elite Light is now coming in for Ganji as well. Let's have a look at the relics situation for the Lithuanians. No relics! So Slaktarn and Bratin should maybe give away those relics to Ganji if he means to go full Lightis here. But the Goth's barracks about to be converted here, or maybe he's just charging the conversion time to convert Huskarls more quickly. Losing the barracks conversions still going to make it hard for Lux to benefit from that Goth's spam. In fact, Lux isn't really producing here. He's struggling with the economy. He's struggling a little bit for gold, perhaps. Deleting the markets now to make a replenish them here, probably for a shorter but safer trade route. But Sweden now with great aggression on both sides here. They're slowly creeping up and they're not going to allow any China comeback potentially here, I don't think. New markets going down over here, but just look at the army masses pushing over here. Britain's now at full capacity with the arbalets and longbows combination here. We have only 2 castles for the Britons to be fair, but you could easily replenish those. You could easily pump out arbalets from the Rangers anyway, especially with the Britons still 20% faster archery range production. This is the new patch hasn't released yet, so. Back to the right hand side, Elite Mangudai is still doing work, the Huskarls getting dangerously close, but the monks are here and could still get some conversions in perhaps and hide behind the Elite Mangudai. Yes, I guess Lix and Vistio are holding decently here, now creeping back to the choke point, will have to hit and run against the Huskarls. The monks will go down to the light cap as well, and Ganji re-walling with another layer behind here to make sure that China can't get through to Sweden's side. Oh, it's close though, it's close though. It's close, but the light cap go down. Here come the Huskarls again. Light is now in front. Lightis should deal very well with the Huskarls especially. Pikemen not as much. Goths have spam here to still keep at least Lightis away in this case. But Huskarl number 6 Huskarls. 6 Lithuanians elite Huskarls. Now out and about here. China are fighting for their lives here, literally. Spearman? Spearman? Surely that has to be Hal. And that Capture Age doesn't recognize it as an Halberdier. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, not much left of Vivi's original base here. Still has 58 villagers, so probably trying to flee elsewhere. Would they even cut through to go down here? That's smart for gold access for Yo. But that's it. Sweden showing their power on closed maps. Or Arena, Black Forest, sorry, specifically. Turning the score to a 1-1 against China here. Yeah, putting up a good fight for the map they never play usually. China did alright, maybe some throwaway sibs here. At least the combinations, not the most common ones maybe for Black Forest. And now we're going to see one of China's home maps. Let's see if they go with Nomad first, just to offset the score to a 2-1, or if they actually go for the other one and save Nomad for a potential decider. It could go either way. It would be a good contrast to go into Arabia now, actually, right after Black Forest. Like a fully open map, which could be ended quickly as well. But they could also go for the safe bet, just to make sure they get the win, so to speak, with Nomad. China definitely favor Nomad, so... Get that Mongols KD, that's some Mangudai micro right there. Alright, let's cross off the Sibs again. We just saw the Byzantines, Goths. Where's Aztecs? Aztecs here somewhere, and Sicilians losing on Black Forest to Celts. Britons surprisingly not to be seen on Arabia. Bit of a non-advantage for Sweden that. They had Mongols and they had Lithuanians. So Sweden taking Black Forest as expected. We'll see Nomad or Arabia next. I think we'll see Arabia because it's 1-1. China could still afford to lose the first home map, then win the next. And then Arena. But then again, it would make sense to take Nomad, get a 2-1, and then Sweden has to pick Arena. Or actually, they could pick the opposing team's home map, but they'll likely pick Arena, and that leaves you with another home map for the deciding game. But I think it's going to be Arabia, because I would save Nomad for a game they're almost certain to win. Alright, I'll be right back. I need a quick bathroom break. I'll just leave the civilization draft here in the meantime. Nomad. Oh yeah, he's convinced it's Nomad. Let's have a look. Because the lobby is indeed up. That one. Okay. So it is Nomad. Oh yes, it's China, Malians, Vietnamese, Portuguese, Turks. Sweden, Bulgarians, Persians, Dravidians, Bohemians. Bohemians. Lol. No. I don't see why they would use Bohemians for Nomad when they could use them for Arena. So I disagree on the Bohemians. It's obviously not going to be Huns for Nomad, but it could be Vikings, Dravidians, Italians, In all honesty, it could be Poles, but it's probably going to be Persians. So Persians, Italians, Dravidians, Vikings. That essentially means you only need to collect 2 wood to afford a fishing ship, even if you're a generic civilization. Hello, a Goldner. So that's my best bet for you. Persians, Italians, Dravidians, Vikings for Sweden. Possibly Japanese instead of Vikings. Wait, hold on. Persians, Italians, Dravidians, Japanese. I'm gonna say, because of the Japanese faster working fishing ships and all that. And then for China, Malians, Portuguese, Vietnamese for the TC locations, and then not too sure about the last one, to be honest. Turks is for Arena, Koreans is probably for an Arabia flank. Maybe Burgundians for the... Yeah, but Japanese Dravidians then, not Vikings Dravidians. But we'll have to see. We are indeed getting China's home map here, so anything could happen. Vikings Dravidians would be for the civilization bonuses exclusively, oh yeah. Cheaper docks and docks supporting pop space. But it only boosts your early game. I guess late game it doesn't make sense in the same way. Lobby is full. We have Spaden playing for Sweden now, for Nomad. So subbing in, that one, China, same team, they only have 4 players. So it's Ganji, Slaktorn, Meratin and Spaden for Sweden. It'll be a mountain to climb for Sweden. It's 1-1 actually, Akkal-AOE, so don't say that. Sweden just dominated on Black Forest. But Nomad is gonna be tough, you're 100% right on that. No argument there. Okay, maybe we should check for the Lodge again. Come on, guys. Stop talking, start playing. Let's go back to the zips then. Okay, so for Sweden, I personally think Persians, Italians, Japanese, and Dravidians. Dravidians could be an Arabia flank save though. Just keep that in mind. Infantry opening into double range archers, for example. And for China, I'm going to go Koreans, Vietnamese, Malians, and Burgundians for the Paladins. And then they'll save the Portuguese for either Arena or Arabia. Okay, I think they've launched, so let's get going. Yep, here we go. Nova time. Incas! Incas for your Malay, for Ganji. Certainly a viable naval civilization as well. So let's have a look. Game 3 between China and Sweden on China's first home map, and we have a fantastic start here already with Ganji and Mr. Yo going to have the time of their lives so close to each other. Ganji is on gold though, so he could probably justify making some archers to try and keep Yo's towers away. But Yo is in case he has cheaper stone costing towers, and Ganji also going to notice immediately that Yo is here. So, ooh, yeah, they're gonna have a good time, huh? And here as well! Brought in with the Vikings over here, and Vivi over here with the Koreans. Vivi, Koreans, extra line of sight on the villagers. Is going to spot that quickly enough. Down here we have Lux with the Malins as well. Fairly close to the other guys here. We'll see how that plays out. And then finally on the left-hand side here we have Spaden and Schlachtern actually set up decently for a I wouldn't say a free boom, but they have more booming space overall. So looking at the civilizations, we have Ganji with the Malay. We have Spaden with the Dravidians, which means that any dock that is placed provides extra population space. We also have Vikings for Meratin, which means that the Vikings docks, or Vikings team bonus provides provides a discount in the dock cost as well, 15% I think. And finally we have Slaktar with the Persians, which is obviously a go-to civilization for Nomad, as you get to produce your first fishing ship instantly. Chinese, on the other hand, they have Tim with the Vietnamese and Vietnamese civilization bonus, allowing them to see the town center location of the opponents. So sees this one, sees that some of the town centers here are uncomfortably close as well. So we're going to have to expect some laming round and about here. Mr. Owl also getting a tiny food bonus, being the Incas here. We'll get one llama to start with underneath the TC. After the next patch, that's actually going to be a team bonus, so that each of the players on the team get a llama under their TC to begin with. I think Mr. O is going for this one as well. And Ganji does... he has it scouted, so he could try and block that actually. I don't think he'll bother doing so. He's going to try and find boars somewhere else instead. No loom though, this is dangerous for Mr. O. Does he have a loom on the way? Does he not have... How is he... And yeah, Ganji sees it, He sees the boar going away, he's going to block it. And Yo is only at 25 HP here, he doesn't have loom. Neither does Ganji. Ganji goes in for the lock. And now comes loom for Mr. O, maybe because he saw Ganji's filter as well. Ganji, no loom though. Risky with the boar here, and Yo somehow manages to get that villager. And we're fast forwarding a bit, could be some lag things. 2 villagers committed for Ganji now. He really needs that boar because he hasn't really scouted any others. But Yo is just going, he wants that one. He wants that juicy pig meat. And it's getting some hits in on it as well, so if Ganji tries the TC trick here, he might be in trouble. He's got Lumin as well. He tries the TC trick after all, but he saves the boar and gets it home. Okay, so good one for Ganji. He's actually managed to bring in wait, he's got a boar right underneath the TC there, so he's got another one brought in as well. So not a bad start for Ganji either at all. Slightly behind in the progression here, but he is the Malay, so he will be going up to the next stage more quickly than the opponent. Not going to be that much laming action on the other side. Let's have a look here. VV not really moved. Yeah, it's been scouting a little bit topside here, using the villagers because the Koreans villagers get extra line of sight. Also long distance collecting some ostrich to further boost the food income. No sign of any feud lakes just yet, but we are probably going to get there soon for some of the players. These bars here indicate how much food is missing for the next age to be researched. I think the Team China have gathered some intel on where the docks are situated as well. They have some idea that there could be a Swedish dock down here, and they found a grey dock over here for Slaktarn. Oh, more villager fighting. Mr. Yo and the Ganji at it here. Good thing Mr. Yo doesn't get the blacksmith upgrades for Inca's villagers anymore. Otherwise, that could be really interesting in this game entering the feudal age. Is he gonna save the 4 HP one though? It's just one more hit for Ganji here. Actually, 2 hits needed. Take that one out. Full on boxing fight, and the villager micro is on point for both of them because they haven't lost a single villagers yet. But look at the mercury efficiency for those two. I was Ganji trying to deny Mr. Yo the stone as well, but Mr. Yo obviously wants to get that stone for towers later on with the Incas. Maybe get a mill up here to benefit from the hunt as well. Still no villagers killed, but they're fighting for their very existence here. And they both need to commit so many villagers. This is peak AoE 2, guys. Not so much of that for Vivi just yet. Does Raten actually know that yellow is so close? Yeah, he does know. Places an outpost on the stone here to see if that stone's being taken for any feudal age shenanigans. Behind this, Sweden is actually going to the feudal age ahead of China here, like overall. But looks now up with the Malians, securing some galleys, and it's going to go right for Spaden's, Dravidian's naval investments here. Yeah, they're not very good neighbors though, are they, Hoya? Still fighting him. Is the old not up yet, surprisingly enough. And neither is Ganji actually, but Ganji goes up more quickly. Oh, so many villagers skewed! Why? Is Ganji trying to give Yo the impression that he's up? Because that's a trick to do. That if you queue so many villagers, your score will go down, so it looks like you're going up to the next stage. But in fact, Ganji is. I don't think he means to queue this many villagers. I think he just. Wants to give Yo the impression that he is actually up, and now he queues them away. They're both clicking the feudal age, but with that Malay bonus, Ganji is going to be 50 seconds ahead, and he will be the first one to drop the tower if this becomes a towers war. I don't really think we can take our eyes away from this, but there are some galleys and pirate galleys at work here for Sweden. They seem to be on top of things on the right hand side, going to take out some of China's fish economy. Mr. Yo going to lose his precious fish. There are some galleys here from Lix. Could hit and run against this one, but Lix not really. I mean, Lix is so... Okay, Lix is going to go for Spaden's fish actually. I like this. He could snipe the docking builder as well, maybe. Okay, he doesn't see it. Back to the Malay Inca situation here. We have Ganji walling in some of Mr. Yo's villagers actually, and that's one thing that Maratin is going to benefit from here. Gets villagers out. Quite clever of Vivid to go for the far away stone over here actually as well. But he's taking this one as well. Going to go heavy on the towers here and just do Vivid things. Eco KD for Lux is off the charts. It's actually been able to take out 10 eco units. That's mainly fish, so great efforts on water there, China. 5 villagers ahead in the midst of all of this aggression. Gondry with the defensive tower manages to keep the aggression out here. Some fire galley action up north here to take out some of the fish of Lix potentially as well, but China definitely on top of things on water. I think they're, at least in terms of taking out the economy of Sweden, they're doing well. We have 2 players going to the castle age as well. We have Vivi somehow managing to get almost straight to the castle age here with this fight placement against Maratin, so that's extremely bad news for Maratin here. Even with archers out, he's going to struggle to stop any Vivi castle here, and the war wagons will pop out and maybe even take out Maratin's starting TC before it can even research castle age. Let's see if that castle goes down over here actually. Siege workshop for Vivi. Maybe not enough stone for a castle just yet, but it's getting close. We also have Tim in castle age with the Vietnamese here. Is on stone as well, going to make some of those plumed archers perhaps. He's not invested on water, but also has been taking the middle bond, so it's not in any threat of the water at all, until Spaden actually realized that and docked the middle here to try and contest the fish of the purple player as well. Now, Vivi with the Koreans also gets guard tower instantly, so that's an obvious advantage for the Koreans here. Could easily deny more of Ganji's economy here. Look at all these weak villagers as well. Malay Tower getting the better fight here. They're both with town center coverage behind this as well, but Mr. Yo has lost more villagers than Ganji by the looks of it. Lix is going crazy at the waters here. Look at the eco kit of Lix, 20 eco units killed. And still got working fishing up economy up north as well. And there it is. There's the first castle of Vivi. Going to absolutely dominate Maratin here on the close home bases that they have. Magadon moving out all alone here. Still no sign of any castle age from Maratin here, so he's going to struggle to fight off war wagons being in the feudal age here. A stray farm on this mill over here as well could easily be taken out by naval advances. Yo, more towers going up here. Keeps Ganji busy at home base as well, while the team is able to start producing the rat notches and could start obstructing the Persians over here. Persians lost most of the fish economy, so setback here. Food situation for Slaktar should be really low actually. Look at this, no farms, and lost all of the fish. So this is not a good castle age Persians economy until Slaktar can get that farm economy going, and that's going to be obstructed by the rat archers moving out now. So Tim is going to keep Persians on their tiptoes over here. Definitely naval fighting going on for the Persians still as well, so that could explain the lack of farms as well. Was probably expecting to keep that food economy on the water alive for longer. War wagons moving further out here now. Spearmen now from Bratin. Might be able to poke down that war wagon. If not, no, not quite here, but small numbers for now for Vivi. Not really going to be an issue. Vikings going to be set back quite a bit here, losing the starting TC here. We'll need to rebuild it somewhere else. Maybe it's preparing to build it over here somewhere. Maybe on the stone actually too. No, that's a lumber camp. Anyway, Maratin taking a serious beating here. Going to lose that town center. Will have to spend resources rebuilding it. Does not have the wood for it. That's why he's making the lumber camps. But then why is he making 2 lumber camps? Oh, he's making another one over here. But that already commenced building, so he lost some wood that way as well. He's still going to need... I guess he could use the gold to buy wood for another town center, but that's still hurting your situation quite a bit. Not going to be able to produce any villagers for a while now, Maratin. And there's Catholic for Lux as well. Second TC immediately for the Malians. Done some great job on water. Looks like China has given up on the water now, but they're fine with that. They've forced Sweden to invest heavily into the naval damage and been able to claim the land area in a much larger extent than the other. Which means this is basically textbook nomad playing by China here. They forced Sweden to invest into the water. Yes, they'll lose the water now, but they've safely transitioned into land economy after this, and they just keep harassing the land economy now, so that after setting back Sweden, yes, it's evenly similar in the villager count, but Sweden also has one player stuck in forever feudal age for quite a while longer. Two players, in fact. Ganji is stuck in the feudal age as well, and even being the Malay here, going up fast, he needs to get up fast. Tries to tries to sandwich in the war wagons here, but needs to complete that gate as well to be able to seek refuge inside the TC. Maybe he's just trying to escape with as many villagers as possible and not die to the war wagons. Yeah, it's not looking pretty for Sweden here, does it? We've still got the fish economy working as well, so it doesn't need that many farms to sustain the efforts on land. What's the military situation? It's 34 to 31, but keep in mind that 16 of those for Sweden, half of the army of Sweden, more than half of the army of Sweden is on the water. So China in a huge military lead on land here. Cancellation now for the Vikings, finally on the way. While the war wagons are doing their thing, trying to further obstruct Ganji here. Looks just in time with the villager to deny this wall from Ganji as well. War wagons now moving around. A monk is out for Lix to maybe help heal up the war wagons a little bit, but also to help deny walling for Ganji here. Ganji has no escape. Ganji's only potential escape is a transport ship area. It's actually docking here, maybe with that in mind. I think this dock does not serve any other purpose than for Ganji to try and transport over to the backside of his teammates Spaden and Slaktarn here to try and conserve the villagers and not get completely defeated here. Ganji is at 20 villagers and he's trying his very best to escape here, but Mr. Yo is walling him in with Incas here and another tower going up. Yeah, he really needs to transport it. This has to be for a transport. Ganji for the escape is going to try to escape to the north, but if that transport ship gets discovered by the remaining armies of China, then Ganji is definitely GG to the point of defeat here. War wagon making it in as well. Lix with more, no, Lix I say, Yo with more villagers going to drop a tower here, and unless Ganji has careening in here, which I doubt he has, he's only going to have space for 5 villagers inside the transport ship as well, so this is going to take him quite a while to get away. Yep, only 5. Oh, look at the fire galleys! Look at the fire galleys! They're gonna intercept the transport ship! They're gonna intercept the transport ship! Ganji, man! Ganji! Oh! It's down to 14 villagers, and the rat archers are dominating against the Persians over here. Not really enough knights here to survive this. China in a fantastic spot now. Look at the eco difference. Look at the military difference. Look at Ganji desperately trying to escape here, but he's got 5 villagers inside the town center. He's got 7 villagers trying to flee down here. I don't even know what these walls are for. Maybe it's just to keep the fire ship far away. These are gonna go down. Ganji has another transport ship ready, but look at Lux staying closer. He knows there's a transport ship inside of there, and he's not going to. He's going to try and stop Ganji from escaping again. Oh, a nomad masterclass for China. It is, as to be expected. It's China's best map. Barely any question about that. Slaktar did get that land economy rolling eventually. Did some skirmishers, no, some scorpions against the rat archers, and did have some cavalry out and about as well, but no lot lines yet, not really any ability to deal with the push at hand here. Nomad masterclass from China. Can't really say anything else about that. That transport ship interceptor is like that. That's absolutely brilliant. Where was that? Look at that. Is that the first or the second attempt? Let's go to see. Yeah. That's the play of the game, if you ask me. Look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. Down go those 5 villagers trying to escape. Last resort for Ganji. Poor guy. It's very likely we're going to Arena, but in theory, Sweden could pick China's Arabia as a home map as well. It's allowed to pick our opponent's home map. So it's a theoretical possibility. Don't see why they would, but they could. Got with only 2 kills and 46 losses. Brutal game there for Ganji. Yo taking some losses, but nothing nearly as bad as Ganji. Well, they truly not working out here. And that ends it. Brought with some proper APM here. Did he ever... What did Murata do? He was trying to hold off Vivi, which is easier said than done as well. Let's go to the sim draft and cross off the used sims once again. Vikings, Dravidians, Malay, and Persians going down. They're on Nomad. Persians, solid sim on Nomad, of course. Malians, Incas, Koreans, and... What was the last one again? Vietnamese for China. Means we're going to Arena. Most likely next. It could be Arabia because Sweden could pick China's home map. It's unlikely, but possible. Arena. What are we going to see on Arena? We're going to see... Maybe we're going to see both Poles and Bohemians, honestly. Poles, Bohemians, Khmer, Italians. But then again, you don't want to play Bengalis on Arabia, probably, so... Bohemians could be an Arabia flank as well, so let's say Poles, Italians, Khmer, Bulgarians, or Bengalis. And China has to be Turks for Arena. Has to be Slavs, I think. Portuguese and Burgundians, I would assume. We have another lobby ID up, so let's fetch that one. Sweden, Poles, Italians, Bengalis, Bohemians. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Italians is a given. Bohemians is... Well, let's look at the other way. I don't think they're going to use both Poles and Bohemians because they need an arbalist sim for Arabia as well. It makes perfect sense to use Italians here, but it's probably Bulgarians, Huns, Pocket on Arabia, then maybe... they're not left with any great flank options in that case. Yeah, I'm not too convinced, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Turks, Hungarians, Portuguese, Burgundians, that makes sense as well. Saving Ethiopians, Magyars, Slavs, Saracens for Arabia. Makes sense. Slavs, extra pop space for buildings. military buildings on Arabia makes it easier to go for the early 2021 pop archers builds, and Saracens would benefit from that as well, with their market bonus if need be to tweak the resources or just to get the early archers out to more effectively break walls. Potentially side of game here, China is up 2-1. But it's also a map that doesn't scream China, to put it that way. So we may very well go to a 5-game set here. Very likely. Let's have a look at the progress here. Maybe they launched. Didn't launch it. Okay, I've started. So let's just hop into it. Arena coming up. Here we go. Let's see if HJ was correct. So he said for Sweden, Poles, Italians, Bengalis, Bohemians. Looks like we have Bohemians, Poles, Bengalis, and Bulgarians. So that's 3 out of 4 for Hoya. Not bad. Not bad. So it's Bulgarians over Bengalis. No, Bulgarians over Italians. So they're saving Italians for Arabia, which is fine. It's a very good flank for Arabia as well. Whereas China has Portuguese, Turks, Slavs, and Gudars. Honestly, you'd have to say that China has stronger arena sims here, don't you? Good turnout for HJFE there. And let's have a look at the positioning here. Yo with the Portuguese on the flank here, will want to play the organ guns against Ganji on the right hand side here, or just some Imperial Age strong shenanigans here, but it's nice in the back here for Mysterioso is less subject to a tower rush overall. Forward stone though, almost scoutable by the opponent, so if Ganji for some reason would go for a tower rush here, then Mysterio would struggle to play tower defense. It's very unlikely, even if they're this close, because it's not typically the Civ you'd go tower rushing with the Bohemians. If they wanted to tower rush, they'd have poles in this position, and Sleepy Sweet is in the pocket with the poles here. So that's not going to happen. Yeah, Mysterio on the flank with the Portuguese. We'll see what he's planning to do here, but I think he wants to go for a super fast Castle Age organ gun push, which could be strong, even in a team game situation. Vivi in the pocket with Guriaras here, already collecting some of that. Yeah, already garrisoning the sheep over here to get a passive food boost, food trickle from them. Also taking the berry bushes underneath the 1000 to compensate for the fact of not eating sheep early on. And pushing in on should be a nice and smooth food economy from the very get-go here for Vivi. Guriaras could get the castle up and mass the Chakram throwers to kill just about anything. Pretty stupid melee, ranged melee attack unit that shoots through units like a Scorpion projectile as well. But yeah, it takes some time to get to that. It's situational. You might have more use for the Guriaras strong camels instead. And you could even start massing camels in the feudal age as Guriaras, or on the way to the castle age as the camel scout that they start with instantly upgrades to a camel rider in the castle age. In the other pocket we have team with the slabs. Team bonus being that military buildings provide population space. Very handy in open maps, especially when you go for early aggression with barracks and ranges, for example, and stables, but it's going to be handy on arena for sure as well. Slabs, fantastic siege. Druzhina infantry comes to mind for the late game against the Poles cavalry spam. Maybe mass halberdiers against the Bengalis Ratas as well. But the Bengalis have amazing monks as well. Extra pierce and melee armor on the Bengalis monks. That's their civilization bonus. We have licks with the Turks here on the other flank. So that smells like a Castle Age Castle Janissaries play against the Bengalis here. We'll see how Maratin holds against that, but he does have all of the monks' technologies, so late game, or most of them anyway, so late game we'll be able to get to block printing monks with Redemption to convert Turks bomber cannons perhaps. And might be planning unique units here and Maratin as well, so the castle defense certainly not out of the question here for Maratin. Then there's Slaktar with the Bulgarians pocket here. He must be thinking about stirrups, cavalier, and conics. Not to mention that the Bulgarians have a shortcut to the siege weapons like the onagers and siege Ra upgrades. They are at half the cost, or half the food cost, I guess, or half the cost overall. Anyway, it's cheaper to get to that for the Bulgarians. So siege Ra upgrade effectively only costs you 650 food, for example, rather than the 1300 for any other civilization. It's situational, but can come in very handy in the late game. And the conics, of course, strong substitute for the cavalier of other civilizations, and they have 2 lives since they are also transitioned into or they are dismounted when they get killed, so you get an infantry unit that can keep fighting even after you lose the conics. Sleep is going to the stone already, but Poles generate gold through mining stone, so this must be with a defensive castle in mind to protect the very forward main gold here as well, and to eventually get to the unique technologies for Slakta privileges for 60% gold discount on the Cavaliers, and the unique technology in the Imperial Age Lechtic Legacy giving the Hussars trample damage potential as well. Finally, Ganji with the Bohemians, now going with 3 Builders Gold, so not opting for any Tower Rush shenanigans here. I think this is just going to be... Oh, he might be going for a Monk Siege push actually, because this is 23 population up. He's with 3 on gold as well, not on stone at all. And they're quite close, so I can definitely see a Monk Siege push working here for Ganji, especially since he's up earlier than the Poles here. But on the other hand, Mr. O will be able to get the defensive castle up. Ganji will need those redemption monks anyway, because he knows he's very likely to face up against the Portuguese organ guns here. A little bit of scouts fighting here. Looks like that's going to go into Sweden's favor. Mistio still not in the feudal age, but Ganji about to get there, so he'll get that speed and attack from the feudal age. Vivio doesn't really want to meddle in here, would lose the scout no matter what. The blacksmith market for Mr. No surprise there. Same procedure for Ganji. It's probably going to be the same for most of the players opting for the straight fast battle here. Barracks for Vivi, going to go and contest the middle with scouts then, so it's going to be a blacksmith stable for Vivi most likely. And Slavs, I'm expecting a blacksmith stable here. Market stable, it could even be the case, but probably blacksmith stable. So they'll want to contest the middle for relics as well. Yeah, mainly blacksmith markets going up here. Still no feudal age for the Bengalis. It's going to be a 29 village. Well, I mean, it's going to be a 32 pop up here. That's honestly a build that's mainly associated with fast imperial age here. You can see 2 villagers popping up just like that for Maratin. That's the Bengalis civilization bonus. 2 villagers per town center. It's blacksmith market at least. Looks like he wants that defensive castle up. Camel Scout doing work in the middle here, and pretty much arena meta approach here so far, with some cavalry from the pockets to contest the middle, try to claim the relics. But I expect the flanks to make some form of castle unique unit play here on both sides really. However, it's pretty heavy on the gold for Ganji, so in Ganji's case it could definitely be a monk siege push here. Sending 2 villagers out now to push. Mr. O, heavy on the stone, should easily be able to get a defensive castle up, or is he going for an offensive one? Is he going for an offensive castle? Is he moving out for a castle drop? Sheesh! That's not gonna work, is it? I suppose Ganji isn't really going to get the monks out in time for the castle to be denied. Tower, for sure. He's gonna need 2 towers. There's some scouts here to meddle in as well, and then 1 monk maybe to deny that. I don't think this castle goes up for you. Don't think this castle goes up for you. Ganji even diving out with 1 builder, some builders to delay the builders even more. That tower will complete. Mr. O will lose so much here now. Tower goes up for Ganji. It's going to have 2 monks to deny the builders as well. It's going to get some conversions in on the builders. And this 650 stone for this castle, Yo will need to delete this one. That castle is never going up. Great recognition of Ganji there to see that castle going up. We have a castle from Lix on the other side as well, to be expected from the Turks, of course. I think that will complete. But this forward castle, he's committing now. He's committing, but there are more monks popping out here for Ganji. He can use the monks to use the alt key trick to stop the villagers from building. He has the tower with villagers garrison to defend as well. Yo is going to... Yeah, I guess the tower goes up, but Yo is losing so much in the process. Look at the eco KD here. Yo is down to 90 villagers. This could be a very quick arena game if this keeps up. Okay, it finally goes up. Ganji will need to relocate. He could... But, you know what? Now that Yo has this castle forward, Ganji could in theory move around, and Monk Monk siege push from this side. Because Yo won't be able to get the defensive castle towers up. Yo is so exposed at home. I think Gandhi's best bet is to wall off the aggression here and maybe keep some monks at home to convert the organ guns, but try to get some counter-aggression in. 11 villagers lost from Mr. Yo in the process. He manages to get 4 villagers down for Ganji as well, so all in all it's only 4 villagers difference between Ganji and Yo. Ganji will need to get to redemption here ASAP. He's gone for the further away goal now, as his main goal has been denied by Yo. Let's have a look at the other side. Janissaries to move out for Lux, but Bratin fully expected this. Places a defensive castle to keep the main goal safe from Janissaries' aggression. The stone, admittedly exposed here, but the castle kind of protects that as well. And there's a gold in the back as well, should Lux somehow succeed in pushing this gold. On the arena, you don't need villagers. I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say so. On 1v1 I agree, in a team game I don't agree as much. Is this Lux recognizing that the Bengalis is going fast imp here? I mean, it's a brilliant move, honestly. It's a brilliant move to stop the Turks' castle age push, to get the defensive castle up, go fast imp and get Trebs out to completely cripple the Janissary production. Yo is inside on the other side as well. Redemption is in for the monks of the Bengalis, as we can see. So the damage potential for the limited amount of organ guns is negligible. And if Lux somehow succeeds in taking out this TC before Imperial Age, it's going to be so tough for the Swedes here, but I don't really think it's an issue. Bratin could commit to some repairs here. He has 2 monasteries. He's going fast in monk traps here actually against the Turks. And with block printing monks, you can convert the Janissaries at a distance, because the Janissaries have 8 range, the monks with block printing have 12. It's close though, it's going to be close, it's going to be close. More Janissaries popping in here, the ram won't enter in time. You can't really repair either, but Imperial Age will kick in here. And Bratin is going to make it to imp after all. Block printing probably to be researched instantly, there it is. Can't really commit to converting the Janissaries just yet. It's going to lose the TC here, but he could just rebuild it in the back and should be fine. Even got 2 extra villagers here entering the Imperial Age as well, so not making a huge difference in this situation, but with the low economy currently at hand, maybe that's the way to go. Mr. O taking out one monastery, taking out the other with the organ guns as well. Looks like they want to move in to obstruct the Poles pocket here now. Sleepy Swede, unobstructed economy. Look at this beautiful folwark economy at work here now. Could delete that house easily as well because of the folwarks providing population space. That's a good defensive castle, as China will try to put hard in with the organ guns to do damage here, but that castle is going to complete before that, so that's not an issue. And I think Slachta Privileges Cavalier will do just fine against the current mass of organ guns of Biseo. So left hand side, the Janissaries are in. We'll need some kind of siege from the Turks here to deal with this castle though. That's the only reliable defense that Muratin has. He's taking significant losses here now, but with block printing monks in, the Janissaries will not be nearly as efficient anymore. A couple of monks, they will go down there for Muratin, but some Janissaries will be lost to conversions as well, unless Lux is particularly careful here. If redemption is in, you could convert the ram as well, I guess. Janissaries going down to conversions here. 3 monasteries, sorry, still producing, and massive gold investment here for Muratin. They're both at, admittedly behind this. Lux is adding economy, so it's getting an eco advantage over the Bengalis, but he's going to be fighting an uphill battle here against an Imperial Age player. Now with the first trebuchet out, second one in the queue, the one and only forward castle of the Turks will be going down quickly here. Now moving over to the right hand side, trying to hit the Bulgarians pocket now. Also very healthy boom from the Bulgarians here. Could go for... are we going for the Conics here? Or what's the play here? Organ guns having no luck at the Pole's side. Petards for Sleepy Swede as well. Where is Sleepy Swede going with the petards? He's going to petard in and hit Yo at home base maybe? Or is it just a reaction to the castle? Okay, all the way over here for Lix on the Sleepy Swede side. Lix playing Nomad style on Arena. Beautiful organ gun conversions here from Ganji. He's got how many of them now? 4 organ guns. And a camel. Bohemian's camel. That's not something you see every day. And Lux dropping a castle on the Bulgarian player after all. So it was a little bit indecisive here about as to where to place the castle, but it goes down. Castle at home for the Gudjaris could mean a Chakram Tower investment, as Slaktar places another layer of walls at home here, holding nicely thus far. Looks like the Janissaries will break through the defensive castle. Will it keep the aggression away? We have the block printing monks of the Bohemian Bengalis over here. Now punching through with this petard as well. China doing surprisingly well here, I have to say. Even all things considered. But now the Bengalis trebuchet is here to deal with that forward castle of Lix again. Sweden only slightly ahead in economy, but ahead in military and ahead in development. Redemption comes in for Maratin as well, so now I'm going to be able to convert siege weapons and organ guns on top of this. Bulgarians now going for the infantry siege style here. Might be going into an early, quick Imperial Age Onager here to try and get some hits in on the Janissaries. Mr. Yo pushing on Ganji's home base. Not really much here for Ganji to lose. He's only at 41 villagers, but he's moving out into the middle of the map to now castle drop the Gudjaris by the looks of it. Nope, he's placing a castle to hit Mr. Yo instead. This is a confusing situation, this whole game. Sweden has the top score, but I'm not sure if they're really in the best position here. Imperial Age just now being researched by Sleepy Swede. That is easily going to complete, because it's unless somehow this TC gets trapped down. Very unlikely though. Castle down for the Turks. No more Janissaries for the Turks. That's huge, actually. It's Castle 8 for the Turks. It's a decent economy at home. And it's going to be Imperial Age soon. But there are no castles, no protection at home base for the Turks, which means that Maratin could punch through here with some petards or anything now and start hitting the Turks home base. Sleepy Swede seems to have Slakta in here, so able to pump out some of the, or maybe it's not in yet, but they're pumping out the cavalry numbers from at least 4 stables here. Healthy Folwark economy working behind this. Will be able to spam cavalry until the end of the century by the looks of it. And Ganji committing mainly to the monks here to heal up friendly unit and convert any potential organ guns or siege weapons. Eventually Turks gunpowder units as well, bomber cannons at the distance. Defensive castle for Visio, that will be going up, I think, unless Ganji's monks can have a say in it. This could be denied, actually. This could be denied with proper monks micro hit. The knights could dive in, but yeah. Sweden realized this has gone too far. The production already and the camels of the Gudjaris are here as well. We can't engage. We can't engage here. Odegar is in for the Bulgarians. It's half price after all for the Bulgarians, so ready to push out here. Added halberdiers as well. It's halb siege push from the Bulgarians. In the middle here we have the Slavs playing the same kind of idea. Redemption is in though, so Maratin could convert these siege workshops and the rams and the trebuchets, if any, enter the field at some point. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's going for the conversion on the buildings and on the halberdiers. Not going to be allowed to convert the siege weapons just like that though. all the players in the Imperial Age now. Sweden with a no equal advantage at all, but they have the military advantage. Now Arbalest switch for the Poles because of the infantry to enter, because of the truck romps being added here, and halberdiers of Team China. And with the Imperial Age in, Weens will be allowed to sling as well. Siege workshops being converted here now. Bratin getting 2 siege workshops converted. Could use them to add siege of his own if need be. Could also convert the rams with the monks because redemption is in. Sweden definitely pushing back here now. Forward castle to support the push of Bratin on the Turks side as well. Turks bomber cannons are needed here now to deal with the trebuchets and on the gears at the distance. But that, let's see if Lix has a way with that. Maybe fully boom with the Guyars here, going into heavy camels mostly against these Slakta privileges Poles Cavaliers, but they are basically a trash unit for the Poles. You're going to conserve the gold for a long time with the Poles here. Huge boom for Sleepy Swede though. That's so many villagers on food for green here though. It leaves less space for military, so I'm not sure how that's going to work out for Sleepy Swede here. Did you go for Fetorias? No. Yeah, I got one, got 2 actually. So that gives you a resource trickle for the Portuguese here. Each Victoria takes up 20 population space as well. But in the Imperial Age, she's obviously allowed to sling, so you could use the Victoria income to sling your teammates for any resources you might need, like stone and gold, particularly in the late game. Siege all year in for the Bulgarians now. While Lux has gone into cavalry archers here to try and use some mobility with the Turks here, maybe to snipe monks. And the Hussars of Team here as well, great timing. The Hussars going to take out so many of the monks of Marat in here. Basically all of the monks might go down now. But Slaktar with the Halb siege pushing on the Poles as well. Not great news for the Turks here. So many trebuchets here. They're going to obliterate the Turks' base and render Lix with no economy at all very soon. Sleepy Swede diving in now. The Shri Bamsha riders are out to raid for the Guriaras here. Ganji now left with 66 villagers is rebooming up in the north instead, realizing that the home base is heavily exposed. And the Poles sort of having to provide both cavalry and arbalest here. Seems a little bit indecisive by Sleepy Swede here, as Bibi is playing a masterful pocket performance here with what is mainly camels, but also some Shirivamsha riders to raid. Castle further in the back for Lix, also placing markets. That seems optimistic at this stage in the game to attempt for trade at this point, but who am I to argue? Maybe I'll have success with it. Job has a pretty decent portion of Organs out now, 25 of them. And artillery is coming in for the Turks, which is going to give the bombard cannons 2 extra range. China, massive military numbers here, and they're not that far behind the economy either, but this is of concern, obviously. On this side, the Turks player is losing the home base, might need to relocate somehow. Shrivangsha riders though, they should be able to do well against the Arbalest, but the Obuk are in front, obstructing access to the Arbalest here. The buildings need to be taken down. The trebuchets maybe should have been firing this direction instead, but they choose to take down Ganji's home base defenses, allowing Shrivangsha riders to dive in here and take out Ganji's economy yet again. He's researching Imperial Age just now at a town center in the back over here. It's the Feitoria situation of Yo now. 6 Feitorias for Yo. He's probably in full sling mode at this point. Just some Arguns, some builders, but mainly Feitorias, and that's going to show in the resource trickle here as well. Look at that resource income. That's a steady food income with no farmers. Look at that! A little bit of trade going on for China here as well. I would be very surprised if China takes Sweden's home map here. It's not really what China's known the most for, the closed maps, but they're putting up a show here now. Heavy cavalry archers out. They'll have to keep an eye out for the siege onagers though. Turks artillery bomber cannons here as well. Can we see sling stats here somewhere? Here we go. So Mr. Yo surprisingly didn't sling any resources yet, but he definitely should or could with the Victoria income. I think Lux is stabilizing at home base here. Still quite a while to go to break into the Sweden base, but Shrivansha Riders, they are no joke with the full upgrades. Look at their speed, 1.76. Okay, maybe they don't have husbandry yet, but they're still annoyingly fast, and they're actually a pretty very good way to deal with the Arbalest as well. But their main thing is the speed. They can't really easily be converted because of the speed, and they dodge projectiles, so they'll deal with Arbalests just fine as well. 30 organ guns for you now, and some siege elephants added now as well. They tear down buildings so quickly. While Tim is getting detonets for slabs, that's going to decrease the cost of castle for slabs, the stone cost by down to 400 stone and 300 wood, I think it is. Wonder what the Poles can do here. Poles seem to be falling behind, don't they? You have the camels against the cavalry, and you also have the Shrivansas against the armless. And I guess even Poles bomber cannons isn't really an option here because you'd have the redemption monks of both Portuguese and Bengalis for that matter to convert those. So great. Push by the Chinese team now. Mr. Yo playing, taking his flank responsibilities seriously here. Is dropping bombard towers dangerously close to Sleepy Swede's base now. That's going to impact the reinforcements from the army production side as well. And left-hand side, Turks. Heavy cavalry archers really working out. They're elephant archers from Bengalis in decent mass as well, but not really decent mass. They only have 9 of them. 2 ranges producing. I mean, if you have this kind of army with the Turks, that's not easily stopped. Bombard powers from Lux as well. What a play from the Chinese here. What a play from the Chinese here. So many bomber cannons. Look at the range. 12 plus 2 range. You just don't deal with that. I think the siege engineers is in for the Bulgarians, but still you're outranged by 5 by the artillery bombard cannons. China is pushing on both sides here, and now Sweden trying to wall the middle here, trying to somehow secure a potential trade route maybe. But they need to deal with the Shrivansha raids as well. They need to push back these the bomber cannons, and China taking what would be presumed to be a strong home map for these Swedes here, being closed map experts. Of course, China is a fantastic team. Their seed should respectfully be higher, but that's on them for not playing more ranked 1v1s and team games in the seeding period. 3-1 for China. Masterful performance on arena here. Great aggression all game. And a good boom from the pockets to back that up as well. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Great work. Turks, KD. Look at the KD for China here. Kujaras, big raids probably. We still with the organ guns eventually. And Lux with the Janissaries, not really working out, but buying enough time for the pockets to boom like crazy. And then the KD and then showing the Turks. Heavy cavalry archer switch working out. Kanji took a heavy blow in the early game there as well. Not really able to set up any proper economy. Defended well for a good while. Denied that initial castle drop of Mr. Yo as well, but in the end Also buying time for the other pocket to thrive on China's side. Great game. Good set. Little look at the APM just for the fun of it as well. Martin having some serious monk micro at work here, probably with this APM. But the win goes to China. Maybe you should show the civilizations in the end as well. With China, Portuguese, Feitorias OP, apparently. Slavs, Turks, and Guriaras, which are being nerfed this upcoming patch. With Poles, Bohemians, Bulgarians, and Bengalis for Sweden. GG, well played. Okay, and the map, of course. Sweden losing arena there. 3-1 for China in the end.